What is going on, everyone? My name is Andy. Welcome back to another FPL video, and today I'm talking chip strategy. Now, this is chip strategy, of course, for Game Week 18 and Game Week 19. This is my chip strategy, so I'm not going through loads of different permutations about if you got these chips and these players, this is what you should do, etc. Because it's very difficult, as I've said on many videos and streams, to give blanket advice for this kind of thing, because the players you own will make a difference, the players you want will make a difference. What the players that I want will not be the same ones that you want necessarily. The chips you have and stuff will all be different as well. And so in this one, I want to show you my thought process and try and show you what I'm thinking about when I'm making my decisions, and hopefully that will help you as well. Now, the way I'm going to record this video, hopefully, is in one take. So usually I'll record a bit, maybe like 4 or 5 minutes on a certain player, then stop it, then start it for another one. Obviously in the edit you don't see that. But for this one, I'm just going to go through and click through all the scenes. There's going to be a little bit of mouse clicking, which I know is not ideal, but I think it will help you show my thought process and help you, think about yours, basically, what your chip strategy is going to be. There's going to be spreadsheets, there's going to be tinkering on the FPL page, there's going to be some graphics that I've put together. So if you do enjoy it, please do give it a like, hit subscribe if you're new around here, and let's jump into it. So, first of all, like I said at the start, chips, right? I don't have the same chips as you necessarily. I have my second wildcard, which is available in Game Week 17. I've forgotten to put the extra bracket to close the bracket on that, but my second wildcard is in Game Week 17. So I have that. I've used my first one, right? If you've got your first one, it has to be used by Game Week 16. I've got the bench boost, the free hit, the triple captain. So I've not used any of that right now, okay? And I come on to which ones I'm probably going to use in 18 and 19 as we go through the video. So here's some things to consider when you're choosing what chips to use and which strategy to go with, right? There will be another blank. So in Game Week 18, obviously, some teams are not playing, some fixtures are not on. In Game Week 29, the same thing is going to happen. This is going to be based on the FA Cup. I think it's based on the FA Cup quarter-finals. And I think we find out who's going to blank in 29 in Game Week 24. So we don't have that info right now. Obviously, you would be assuming it will be some of the top teams, right? So the Chelseas, the Man Uniteds, the Liverpools, the Man City, etc. Then obviously, if they're not playing, neither is their opponent in Game Week 29. So that's something to consider. And the reason that's to consider is you don't want to blow all your chips, specifically free hit and your wild card, this early on. Now, if you've got your first wildcard, obviously you can just use that to set up for 19, and you can worry about using your second one later on. If you're like me, I don't have my first one, so if I use either my free hit or my wildcard for Game Week 18-19, then I want to have the other one spare for blank Game Week 29, either to fix it beforehand or fix it afterwards, right? Some people will do a strategy where they're going to wildcard in 17, use their second wildcard in 17, free hit in 18, and then bench boost in 19. The problem will come then is you'll have none of your chips, free hit or wildcard, to deal with that future blank. So that's definitely in my thinking. It's why I 100% will not use my wildcard in Game Week 17. Future double game weeks, of course, because there's going to be blanks, there's going to be more double game weeks. There's also the other fixtures we already know need to be rearranged, right? So Man City, Man United, at the start of the season, missed Game Week 1. Villa versus Newcastle needs to be rearranged. Look, we might find out this week, potentially before Game Week 15, when they're going to be rearranged. But if we don't, that's something to consider. Now, I'm not thinking about that because I'm worried about how to plan for it. I'm considering that because if I don't want to use my triple captain now, there will be future double game weeks when I can use it. So that's in my thinking that, okay, triple captain in 19 might be good on like Mo Salah, for example, but if I want to go a different strategy like bench boosting, it's not going to hurt me later on because there will be more double game weeks and hopefully with better fixtures as well, where the triple captain might be a little bit better. Sale value is definitely something to think about, right? It's all well and good saying, I'll sell Salah, I'll get this player, then I'll get rid of them, then I'll get Salah back. Well, what if Salah's gone up kind of 0.2, 0.3 million while he's been in your side? It's going to cost you more to get them back. So as you're going through, thinking about, well, in 15 this will be my transfer, in 16 this will be my transfer, in 17 this will be my transfer, etc. And then in Game Week 20, I'll just reverse a couple of them. Like for me, for example, I'll probably get rid of De Bruyne and then bring him back in Game Week 20. I'll talk about that again in a bit. The problem is, I got him for 11.5. He's gone up to 11.8. So I can sell him for 11.6. But when I buy him back, obviously I've got to pay 11.8. And obviously he could go up even further in price as well. So I've got to find whatever money I think I'm left with. I've got to bear in mind that I need to find an extra 0.2 million because I'm going to be able to buy him back for that. If that makes sense, right? So if I do all my transfers up until Game Week 19... and I've got nothing in the bank and I just think I can buy back De Bruyne, well, I can't. I need 0.2 million extra. So that's something to consider. And obviously, when you're doing all these perfect transfer plans, you've also got to consider the fact that players will go up in price and players will drop in price as well. So you don't want to leave yourself going into game week 20 with your plans where you're going to have 0 in the bank, because the chances of that working out are very slim. And obviously the biggest thing for me this year is the fixtures before and after, right? Maybe more than ever, because in past seasons, game week 34, game week 37 will be big double game weeks. It's not so much of a worry because there's only so many weeks after that of the season left. But this year there's half a season left after game week 19. And I don't want to get into that trap of basically missing out on good players with fixtures beforehand, because I'm so fixated on a double game week with good fixtures, but maybe not out of this world fixtures for a lot of the teams, right? So that's some things I'm considering on my way. Now, one of the things I'm thinking about a lot is game week 20 onwards, right? Which players have good fixtures after game week 20? And more importantly, maybe, which players do I already have? Because once again, I don't have my first wild card, so that's out the window. So I've got to consider the players I already own. Do they have good fixtures after game week 20? And that will then make me think about whether I need to keep those players, i.e. it's better to free hit in game week 18, or whether I can get rid of some of them and free hit in 19 and not worry about having them afterwards. Well, to be honest, a lot of the big players in my team, and even the more value players, all have good fixtures after game week 20. So Bruno Fernandes, Sheffield United at home, Arsenal away, Southampton at home, Everton at home, West Brom away. Most people are going to want Bruno Fernandes for that run. Obviously, this all depends on injuries and stuff, but not going to speculate on whether a player gets injured because you just don't know. Calvert-Lewin, right? So he's just had a couple of tougher fixtures. He hasn't scored now for 3 games in a row, but he has got 3 assists. I also got him for 7 million. Now, a price increase shouldn't make you not sell a player. Like if you've got a player for like 7, they go up to 7.4. Okay, you lose a bit of money, but if you don't want them back, it doesn't matter. For Calvert-Lewin, Leicester, Newcastle, Leeds, Man United and Fulham, that's a really good fixture run where, look, is he essential for that run? No. But is he a really good player for that run? Yes. And I got him for 7 million, right? I think he's 7.9 now. So it would cost me $500,000 extra to buy him back, right? And not only that, if I bring up the FPL site, right? Sheffield United away this week, really good fixture. Okay, Man City at home is tricky. Then it's West Ham at home. Then he plays in game week 18, and then he's got really good fixtures after that. So I don't necessarily want to get rid of him, but obviously it is worth considering the fact that I could free hit him out in game week 19 and then keep him for game week 20. So that doesn't stop me free hitting in 19, but he is a good player I'd want to own. Greenish is similar, right? And when I'm thinking about players, I'm also thinking about teams. So I have triple Villa right now. The fixtures afterwards are actually quite good. Burnley away, Southampton away, West Ham at home, Brighton away. But, again, this is something to consider, fixtures before and after. So I've got triple Villa here. The problem is, for me, I'm clicking in the wrong place, they've got Chelsea, Man United and Spurs after Crystal Palace. So I'm okay maybe holding Grealish through there. I'd probably be okay holding Martinez as well because he's a goalkeeper. He could get saves. He could potentially nick a dodgy clean sheet along the way. I maybe don't want Watkins as well. So that's something to consider, right? So that's kind of game week 20 onwards for Villa. Chelsea have a good double game week. They've got okay fixtures beforehand as well, although they've got Man City in game week 17. The fixtures afterwards are really good, especially from a defensive point of view. I'm not worried about them defensively as well, so I really want to hold on to Chilwell. I already own him. He has a double game week. De Bruyne, a very similar situation to Grealish and Calvert-Lewin. Really good fixtures after the double. And also in the double, right, they've got Crystal Palace at home. So they've only got a single game week, but it's pretty good. Then West Brom away, Sheffield United at home, Burnley away. Then it gets tricky, but without going into too much detail, that Liverpool away game is game week 23. And that's when Spurs play West Brom. So De Bruyne to Son is a really good transfer, I think, then. And I know I'm thinking like 6, 7, 8, 9 game weeks ahead, and the chances of everything being this perfect is not likely to happen. But again, you've got to think ahead to these things, right? And then Salah, not very often I'd want to get rid of Salah. Spurs away, not great, but then West Ham away, Brighton at home, arguably 2 captain fixtures there. So they're all players that I'm kind of thinking that I could keep, that I already own. 3 have got double game weeks, Fernandes, Chilwell, Salah. 3 don't, De Bruyne, Grealish and Calvert-Lewin. But their fixtures are quite good in in game week 19 regardless. Grealish and Calvert-Lewin play each other, right? So Aston Villa are at home, Everton are away to Villa. And then, like I said, De Bruyne has Crystal Palace at home. So not only De Bruyne obviously got a good fixture then, but a defender, if you own like a Diaz or a Stones or a Cancelo, they've also got good fixtures as well, right? So any of these players I could keep because I'm going into Game Week 19 realising I don't necessarily need 11 double Game Week players. Is that ideal? In most cases, yes. But for players like De Bruyne, Grealish, Calvert-Lewin, maybe if they're worth holding beforehand and after, and I've got value tied up in them as well, especially with Grealish and Calvert-Lewin, maybe it's worth holding on to them, right? So this is like Game Week 19 worries. So as well as looking at the players you want, or the players you can realistically get, it's also worth considering the players that you maybe can't get to very easily, or you won't have if you... So this basically, these are the worries I have if I don't wildcard in Game Week 19 or free hit in Game Week 19. Because I just don't think I can get to any of these players that easily. So Robertson or Trent, right, a Liverpool fullback, lots of people are going to have them, especially if they're wildcarding in Game Week 16. And if anyone's free hitting, there is no way you go into that game without at least one fullback. Some people will have two, so I'm a little bit worried about that. I'm thinking about, can I cover the clean sheets with Matip, right, as part of my strategy. Worries there are not as attacking by any stretch compared to Robertson and Trent. And also, he doesn't have the greatest injury record. So if I bring him in soon, can he get throughout Christmas and to this double game week without getting injured again? That would be a massive worry for me. Jamie Vardy has pretty good fixtures before and after. Again, I don't think I can necessarily get to him that easily, not without giving myself additional hits. Southampton at home, Chelsea at home is quite good. Again, I'd say a lot of free hitters and wildcarders will have Jamie Vardy because he plays Crystal Palace and Newcastle before the double or before the blank. Antonio, look, all joking aside, really good option. The problem is, I don't know if I want to bring him in because of his injury concerns right now. But if he does play, he's really good. Ings, again, could be injured. We'll have to wait and see. But again, Leeds away, really good fixture. And I'm probably not going to own him for that. I know people will laugh at Werner or Pulisic, right? But again, if you're free hitting and those players are fit, they've got Fulham away as the first game, could get some points against Leicester as well. That's a good punt, and I won't own them, right? You can't own everyone, you've got to remember that. And then I've put Fabianski in there because he's got the best fixtures for a goalkeeper. But basically, I don't have a double game week goalkeeper, right? And again, you're free hitting your wildcard, and you're absolutely going to have a double game week goalkeeper. So all these things are on my mind. Yes, okay, you can't necessarily have the perfect team. The perfect team doesn't always work out. But it's worth considering that when you think about the players that you can buy before and after, or whether you want a free hit or wild card. And then lastly, you don't want to forget about the game week 15 to 17 fixtures either. So Spurs, we know. Okay, Wolves are where I think you can get away with not having a player from Spurs for those fixtures. It won't be a nice watch, I'd say, but they're not the best fixtures. Then they got Fulham at home, Leeds at home. That Leeds game in particular is where I'm looking for captaincy. I don't know if I'll captain them in game week 16 for Fulham at home. I still think they're worth having. But Salah also has Newcastle away that week, so that's a good fixture too. And Salah's on there because he has really good fixtures now, so I've got to consider that. Like, I don't want to... The problem I have right now is if I try and free hit in game week 19, right, or game week... or wild card, sorry... To get a good team out in game week 18, right, it's all right saying, you can just sell players, right? But if I come up to the tinkering screen, I don't want to, like, if you look at the game week 18 fixtures, right, I don't want to go into this week without De Bruyne against Brighton and without Son and Kane, because everybody will have those two players, right? So I don't want to go into game week 18 without them. Now, I could get them and then free hit in 19 or wildcard in 19, but the problem is, right, here's what I have to do, which is basically what's pushing me towards free hit in game week 18. So I've got De Bruyne, he stays. To get Kane and Son, it's quite simple. I have to sell Fernandes and Salah. I'm not going to start making like 3-4 transfers to get money elsewhere. It's not worth the hits. So Fernandes and Salah would both have to go. And if I'm not free hitting in 18, I want to keep Calvert-Lewin for sure. So I can't sell him. And really, why would I get rid of Watkins when he's got a game as well? I could go to Welbeck or someone like that who's got a fixture in game week 18, but I probably wouldn't want to sell him. So I'd have to sell Bamford. So if I go to the transfer page, right, Bamford 6.1, I can sell him for 6.2. He's now worth 6.4. You can't see that. He's now worth 6.4. Right, so I'd want him back because Leeds fixtures are good. I'll come on to that in a bit. So I would want him back. So that's a worry. I have to pay for 0.2 more. Salah has gone up 0.2. Fernandes has gone up 1. He might go up more after his big haul as well at the weekend. So that's already 0.5 million for players I definitely want to get back. So that's kind of pushing me away a little bit from the free hit. So again, I might want Kane and Son or whatever, but I don't want to sell those other players. And obviously Bamford, as you can see, he's got good fixtures as well. So why would I want to sell him? So that is basically what's pushing me towards a game week 18 free hit. Now the other reason is, right, if I bring this up, So if we go to game week 18, these are the teams that are playing, right? So you could free hit in 19, and you don't have to have 11 players from this game week, right? Absolutely, which is fair enough. So you could go for triple City, Diaz and De Bruyne. But again, my problem is, which other player do you bring in from City when you're not free hitting, right? If you free hit, you go triple City. It doesn't matter if they get benched because you'll have someone on the bench to come on that plays this week. If I go for like a Mahrez or a Cancelo or Stones or someone like that, am I happy that they're definitely going to play this week? Probably not, right? So it lends to free hit. Triple Spurs, maybe. I've already got Reguilon. I could go Son. I could go Kane as well. That's fine. I've got Grealish. I've got Calvert-Lewin. That probably sets me up enough, right? Which is fair enough. But at the same time, I don't want to just not make any transfers because I've got those players. Like Watkins, for example, I don't really want to hold him for the 3 fixtures where they play Spurs at the end of it. I don't really want to hold on to him, so I'd get rid of him. And that brings me into a double game week play. And ultimately, like I said, to get Kane and Son, I've got to sell Salah and Fernandes. And I don't really like that. Whereas if I stick with the team I've got now, Salah and Fernandes have a double game week. I can get rid of De Bruyne for Son, just hold him for the blank, and hold him for the double. And then keep Grealish, Calvert-Lewin. Bamford's got a double. Dallas has got a double. Chilwell's got a double. I think that's the way to go. I don't have to hold any game week 18 players that I don't want to. A lot of the players, like I spoke about just a minute ago, from game week 20 onwards, have good fixtures. And I'm okay with holding a couple of single game week players like Grealish or Calvert-Lewin and to potentially even bench boost in game week 19. So it's probably worth showing you how I am kind of planning this, right? So this is where the spreadsheet comes out. So game week 15, I've got 2 free transfers. The ones highlighted in the green, I've got a double game week, right? So this is what, from here on out, there's, like, if I bring up the thing, there's plenty of ways I could go about this, right? And I'm not saying this strategy is set in stone and that I'm definitely going to do it. But as you'll see in a second, I'm leaving myself with options. I'm leaving myself flexible for bench boosting or not. But I am pretty much locking myself in to a free hit in game week 18 because there's just so many players in that game week I don't want to necessarily own. And I don't want to sell Salah, Fernandes, Bamford when they've all got not only good fixtures now, but also after as well. And obviously they play in the double, right? So I have them there and then. The issue is, my players that I talked about just a minute ago, my worries, I'm not going to be able to get many of them in, which you'll see now, right? So I've got 1.1 in the bank and 2 free transfers. So my first thought is, because I don't want to sell any of my Villa players against Crystal Palace at home, and I'm not selling Fernandes, Salah, or De Bruyne against Newcastle this week, or Calvert-Lewin or Bamford. So it's a defender transfer. I cannot waste one of these transfers when there's so much planning to be done. Now, Matip is someone I've spoken about just a minute ago when I said cover the clean sheets. But his injury record is a bit of a concern, right? So he's only played 2 games in a row in the league once this season, right? Man City and Leicester. He is going to play if he's fit, but is he going to stay fit? I think this 3 fixture run is much better than Man City. West Brom at home is as good as Newcastle at home, but Newcastle and Southampton are better than Everton and Chelsea. So I'm tempted just to bring him in, and obviously he's then got the double game week. And I think Lamptey's going to go, right? So again, this is a player who's got a game in game week 18, but I'm probably going to get rid of him. So he's been good. Well, he hasn't been good, but I've liked him, but he's going, right? So it could be Matip, but I think it's probably going to be a Man City defender, right? So even though I'm free hitting in game week 18, I'm still bringing in a player who's not got a double game week because I just think his points are going to be so good over this run. So I'd have him for Newcastle. Okay, Everton and Chelsea are not great, but I've got other defenders that could potentially come in if I don't want to play him. He's got a pretty good game in the blank, which I'll free hit for anyway. And he's got really good fixtures afterwards. So Palace, West Brom away, Sheffield United at home, and Burnley away, right? So this is how I've been tracking it. I've obviously deleted it to show you, but this is the spreadsheet. So all I do, 2 free transfers. If I only make 1, then just bring it across, paste it in, and then I just basically change the player that I've brought in, and I show that as a transfer so that I know what I've done. Now you could you could write down how much money you got in the bank, but I'm just remembering as I go, basically. So I'd still have 2 free transfers if I only made that 1 move in that week, right? So we go back to the tinkering screen. So I got 0.2 in the bank. Game week 16, De Bruyne plays Everton, then he plays Chelsea. So it's debatable whether he's worth getting rid of because he could do really well, but I want a Spurs player. Now, this is where it gets into the territory of there's loads of different combinations, and I don't want to talk about all of them because this is really about how I'm planning rather than the specific players. Because again, your team will be different and you might be thinking about different players, right? So because I'm taking out De Bruyne and I've got 2 free transfers in Game Week 16, I could go for Son or Kane. It really depends what striker I want, right? The thing about Son is I think he might be a better option for that Leeds game. And also it gives me a better route to get back to De Bruyne after the double. So he would come in. Now, again, all joking aside, Antonio would be the one that I want. But I don't think, if he's not fit, I can't get him, right? So I might actually double up on Leeds attack and get Rodrigo in. Now, again, I'll just quickly answer the question. If I was getting another Leeds attacker, who would it be? It would probably be Rafinha. But this probably works out better for me. So I bring Rodrigo in, right, for Game Week 16 where they play West Brom away. Good fixture. Okay, Spurs away is not great, but the way Leeds play, they're always going to score goals. Then I get rid of them, obviously, for the free hit. And then they got Brighton at home, Southampton at home, then Newcastle away. I think I can keep them for these fixtures, basically, right? Two players. And it's one of those weird things that FPL managers have. When they see 2 strikers from the same team, people get a bit weirded out from it. But it's no different to having Bamford and Rafinha, which no one would worry about. So try and ignore that. I don't think Rodrigo is quite as good as Rafinha as an FPL option, especially when Rafinha's on set pieces and stuff. But I just think Son might be a better option than Kane for Fulham and Leeds, especially Leeds. But it could be the other way around. I could get Rafinha and Kane in instead. But that's what I'm thinking anyway. Let's just leave it at that. I don't want to go too much into the actual transfers. So then copy and paste this across. We take off the orange because his transfer's been done now. He's in the team. He hasn't got a double game week, of course. De Bruyne comes out for Son. No double game week either. And then Watkins, Paul Watkins, he's going for Rodrigo, potentially, right? So he has a double game week. So at this point, I'm up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 double game week players. And we're in game week 17. Actually, I've got this wrong, haven't I? Sorry, this isn't here. Let me just do this here. Sorry, this is in game week 16. Rodrigo and Son. This is the problem with doing it live-ish. So we get rid of this. So Rodrigo and Son are in. And Rodrigo's obviously got the double game week. So this is in game week 16. Obviously in game week 17 now, I just have 1 free transfer. This is where I have to make a decision, right? So if I go back to the tinkering screen, this is where I have to make a decision about whether I'm bench boosting or not. Now, usually I wouldn't bench boost without a wild card, but the way this game week has kind of thrown itself up, and with the way it's fallen, I can actually bench boost with a fairly strong team. Now, in Game Week 17, I wouldn't want to waste a transfer because if you use your free hit in 18, you can't bank a transfer for 19. You're always going to have one afterwards. So I really need to use a transfer in Game Week 17. So the way it looks right now, we've got Chilwell with a double, Dallas with a double, but Diaz not. But Diaz has got a good fixture in 19, so I wouldn't necessarily be that bothered about playing him. And Reguilon, by the way, also has a good fixture. But this is probably where I would make a slight change. So because I don't want to waste a transfer, Reguilon has in Game Week 17 has Leeds at home. I could see them potentially conceding, and this is where I might bring Matip in, who has Southampton away, so it's not great. But I think in terms of planning, this is probably when I would get him in. So we take out Reguilon, we get Matip in. This then takes us to Game Week 17, right? So hopefully I don't get too confused. I should have swapped this out, by the way. Reset that. So Rodrigo would have been orange because he came in. Son would have also been orange, and at some point I'll get this correct. We go to Game Week 17. This is where you take this off because he's got a double. We put that green. Son is now transferred in. And then this week we do Reguilon to Matip. So that's my transfer this week. And at this stage, I'm coming back to the FPL screen. I've got 2.7 million in the bank. So I've got loads of money, right? My worry is, of course, Robertson, but I've not got a wild card. I can't have the perfect team. And by the way, I think Liverpool defenders are really strong, like Robertson and Trent, but I just feel like the way I've structured my team with 3 premiums, I just can't carry Robertson without getting rid of Grealish or Calvert-Lewin. I don't want to do that. So this is then Game Week 17. In Game Week 18, I'm free hitting. Doesn't matter what my team is looking like. And then in Game Week 19, I then decide, right? Do I play Chilwell, Matip, Dallas? I've got 3 defenders there. I've got Martinez in goal. I've then got Souček, Fernandes, and Salah with double game weeks, and Bamford and Rodrigo. So I've got 1, 2, 3 defenders, right? So 3 players in defence, 3 players in midfield. I'd definitely play Souček, and 2 up front. That's 8 double game week players. And then I could take a hit to get 10. right? So the way I'm thinking right now is, and this is where I would decide if I'm going to bench boost in Game Week 19. So I would take Mitchell out and put Sufal in. Okay, I don't have Fabianski, but I've got Sufal. I think he's excellent value for 4.6 million. And then I do Forster to a double game week goalkeeper. I'd only want to stretch to 4.5-ish million. So probably go for Johnston, because Johnson and Martinez rotate quite nicely afterwards. And that's it, right? So I come back to the spreadsheet, just so we can have a quick look at it. That goes into Game Week 19, because obviously you keep the same team afterwards. Matip is then in the team. And then I'm doing Forster to Johnston. And Mitchell. Finally going Mitchell to, who was it? Sufal. So they're the transfers in. So that's a -4 to get a pretty strong bench boost team, I would say. Now, again, I haven't got the perfect team. I haven't got Vardy. I've not got Robertson. I've not got any Chelsea attackers. But that's a pretty good team. Now, it's debatable about which players would be on the bench in any given game week. But I think Calvert-Lewin, basically my bench would be Martinez, Diaz, and Sufal, probably. I'd play 3-4-3. So Martinez, Diaz, Dallas maybe instead of Sufal, because I think Sufal's got a better fixture. So Dallas would be on my bench. And then one of Calvert-Lewin or Grealish. That's a pretty good bench boost. Now, some people will say, would you not use it later on? But I don't know how big the next double game will be. I also don't know if I'm going to be in a position to be able to wildcard into a bench boost, a double game week bench boost. And because the next big double game week might be in game week 26. Now, that's not confirmed at all. But if you follow Ben Credden, I mentioned him before, that's when he thinks the next kind of big enough double game it could be. There's no guarantee which player's there. There'll be no guarantee that I'll even wildcard to 15 double game weekers, right? Because I've still got a lot of the season to go. And I think basically what I'm trying to say is when I do wildcard, I think I'll still have single game week players. And I don't think it will get much better than this when I've got Martinez, Diaz, Dallas, and one of Grealish or Calvert-Lewin. That's probably about as good as a bench boost it's going to get. And I do think that chip's a bit overrated. And also, by the way, this leaves me pretty flexible, right? Okay, I've put an extra 0.5 million into Johnston and I've upgraded Mitchell to Sufal. But otherwise, my main kind of team structure is very similar. And then basically in Game Week 20, just to kind of complete the circle, I'd want to get De Bruyne back. So Son would go. Son plays Liverpool in Game Week 20. I would want Kevin De Bruyne back, like that, and I have to find 0.3 million. Now, again, like I said at the start, it's actually 0.5 million because he's gone up to 11.8. So because I've not transferred him out, I can still keep him for 11.6. But when I buy him back, it'll be 11.8. So I've got to find 0.5 million. What I would probably do is just downgrade a defender, right? Now, which one I'll decide in Game Week 20. I could even get rid of Johnston, by the way, back to a non-playing goalkeeper. One of those moves is what I'll make because I have 5 good defenders, Matip, Chilwell, Dallas, Sufal, Diaz. One of them can go back to like a Mitchell even, potentially, or just a Matip down to a 4.5, and it leaves me flexible enough. I'm obviously a little bit concerned about Rodrigo, because if I ever need to get rid of him, there's not many players around that price, so I'd want to be able to go up to like 6.5. So I'd probably do something like Matip down to, back down to Mitchell, or something like that, or whoever it might be at the time. But that's my general thinking. That is a bench boost team, but the way I've kind of structured it, if we go back to the spreadsheet, is in game week 15 when I got 2 free transfers, it would be Lamptey to Diaz, right? So that's my transfer in game week 15. So if I just highlight that orange, so what I'm doing here is I'm kind of leaving myself flexible to keep delaying the decision. Diaz, I'm bringing in a game week 18 player, right? And in this week, again, I'm bringing in Son, good fixtures before the blank and double. Rodrigo, good fixtures before the blank and double. And I'm not leaving myself into a position where I'm screwed for Game Week 19 or I have to bench boost. It's only really Game Week 17 when I do Reguilon to Matip that I'm almost committing. But even then, I'm just bringing in another double Game Week player, right? So Matip would be green in this situation. I've really not done a great job with the spreadsheet, have I? Now he's yellow, so he would be green. So even if I didn't bring in Johnston and Sufal, I'd have 1, 2, 3, if I can finally put in green, 3 defenders still without Sufal, 1, 2, 3 midfielders and 2 strikers. So I've still got the 8, and I could make 1 transfer in Game Week 19 to change the midfielder. I could do Son to Rashford, for example, and not bench boost. So it's leaving me very flexible. I hope that helped, right? I know I've been kind of rambling on. This video has probably been extremely long, but I thought this was the best way to get my thoughts across. And I haven't kind of prolonged it too much by doing it live, essentially. So that's kind of my thought process. This could be my team for just a -4 by game week 19. There could be injuries and stuff, in which case I will... I'll rethink. But I think the best thing to do is try and leave yourself as flexible as possible, but to have a plan. You don't have to free hit in game week 18 now, just because I think for my team it's the best option. A lot of people might go for game week 19. Maybe you want Son and Kane after game week 19, right? I don't necessarily, not till game week 23, but you might be different, right? You know, Robertson might be a non-negotiable for you, Robertson or Trent or even double, in which case you have to rethink. But it's not very easy for me to get them, and I do think this is my best way of playing this double game week. I keep players like Calvert-Lewin and Grealish without having to sell them. I don't have to sell Salah, Fernandes and Bamford as well. And I think this just works for my team. So there we go. There we have it. Thanks very much for watching. I do hope that helped. Please let me know in the comments below if it helped kind of your thought process even a little bit. And I do think using a spreadsheet is kind of handy. I know it sucks, right? FPL is supposed to be fun. Spreadsheets are not fun, right? I don't use them that often, but I find it's quite useful in situations like this to see what transfer you're making and tracking it as you go. So let me know in the comments below if you found it useful, how your planning is going. Are you free hitting, are you wildcarding or whatever? I have considered the wildcard in game week 19. Because I think the free hit is fine. If you've got the free hit later on, that's probably going to be useful for game week 29 anyway. But the problem with wildcarding is you then have to build a team to game week 18. And again, I would have to sell Salah and Fernandes, and I'm not happy. I don't want to do that. So I'm definitely, I'm pretty much free hitting in game week 18. But like I said, I'll just do my Diaz transfer this week rather than Matip, because I don't want to necessarily get him in too early. And then go from there. So, like I said, hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below if you did. I will leave it there. I promise I won't go on too much longer. Hit the like button if you have enjoyed it, and hit subscribe if you're new around here. I'll have regular content back from tomorrow, so team selection, game week preview, hopefully captaincy, a live stream, and everything before Christmas. There's plenty to come on the channel, so hit that notification bell, and I will catch you again soon.